nothing like a Dead show, right? It's sort of like it's an experience like nothing else. And so I get a smile on my face when I hear one of their songs, and I just first exposure my freshman year. I was kind of anti-Dead, and then I went to a show, and that's really where I kind of, I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
I think it's similar to any other kind of good music. Like, if you can recognize the fact that it's very impressive what they do, and like the musicality, and like it's good music, it's talent. Honestly, once I came to college and I started like switching my music taste, like meeting new people, like coming into myself more, you could say, is when I actually started to like it.
We grew up in a family that the Grateful Dead was very prevalent. Parents were fans. And then when we got a little older and we started drinking and trying things and stuff, we were like, this is pretty cool. We kind of fell in love with the culture.
The first time I ever experienced the Grateful Dead in my whole life, Ben and I were smoking weed, and he said, we were like, doing all the things that stoned high schoolers do, conversations about the multiverse. Try this, get this, put on headphones, put a blanket over your head, and he pressed play on his phone. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what the hell the Grateful Dead were at all. And I was like shaking. Personally, as a musician myself, and the Grateful Dead, when I first started, they're like one of my favorites, and like
he was obsessed.
I was obsessed.
He was obsessed
with the Grateful Dead. I would spend
for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, all I heard was Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
I see this clip. Listen to this. And
it really sprung my progression as a guitar player forward, because I would spend hours watching live videos of Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir, and it was just inspiring to me how driven they were and how connected they were with their instruments.
Danny surpassed me big time on the guitar. I picked up the guitar first and showed him a little bit, and then he really took to it.
One of my favorites is Men Smart, Women Smarter, because when I was growing up, my dad played that song all the time, and he very much so instilled the lesson that song gives. Like, whenever I was down, whenever I was like having a shitty day, he'd be like, girl, let me just, and then he'd dance it out. I think the main thing that I get from their music and the energy that their music brings is togetherness.
We're in a great atmosphere too. You're inside the arena, people are passing joints around.
Everyone's looking out for each other. Everyone's just trying to have fun. Everyone's smiling. Like, it's a good time.
There's, rampant drug use, but that leads itself to a different vibe. It's not sort of a bunch of bros getting wasted and starting fights. And there's people that are having bad trips, and, bad things are happening, but it's more of a peace vibe, and people loving the music and sort of talking about it.
My first festival that I remember was Bluegrass 2004. From a young age, whoa, this is so cool. Everyone's just wearing tie-dye and hula hooping and smoking weed and living in tents for days and days at a time.
I mean, with that, exposing her to that kind of vibe, I guess, I thought was worthwhile, with its pros and cons. But to me, it was a meaningful part of my life, and still is.
The Grateful Dead and festivals kind of had a negative association in my head, because there was anxiety-provoking things that happened. People can get very sucked into the sounds and the musicality and the artistic ability of it. And my dad, when he would drink, he would his blood sugar would get really low, and then shit would hit the fan. And I think one of the reasons why I also appreciate it even more now is because I've replaced that association, and now I associate it with the positive thing, because it reminds me of the people that I hang out with and good memories and all of that, and my dad.
It's timeless music. People just want a piece of that because it feels good.
Their vibe is very generalizable, and people, I think, connect to that. sort of transcends generations even.